what we're looking at in this diagram here is really the way that carbon is utilized with living organisms. So up here at the top, we have carbon dioxide written, and this would be considered inorganic carbon. And for the most part, organisms are not going to be able to utilize that molecule. It does not have a lot of energy packed into it. But when we convert that into organic molecules such as sugars, these are going to have a lot of energy in them. So organic molecules like sugar, these are going to be what most organisms will actually end up using for their energy source. Now, if we talk about how we make conversions between carbon dioxide or inorganic carbon to ultimately organic carbon in the form of carbohydrates, it is going to be photosynthesis on this side that is converting that carbon back into a really useful form. And the process of photosynthesis, that is performed primarily by plants. And when they perform that, they will have to actually have some energy, and this will be light energy that's coming in and is going to help to energize that carbon in the sugar molecule. Now, if we talk about the organic molecules as sugars, or really we could talk about other organic molecules too, like proteins or fats, that gets broken down by the process of cellular respiration. And cellular respiration is really going to release energy from those organic molecules. So we'll actually see energy come out. And then that energy that's released, it could be used to do a number of things inside the cell. It could be used to run anabolic reactions. It could be used for active transport, really whatever the cell needs. And the organisms that are going to perform cellular respiration are actually quite diverse. So I know a lot of times when we talk about cellular respiration, we focus on animals and humans and talk about them performing cellular respiration. But this is something that can happen in plants too. And it's something that could happen in fungi and other organisms. So it is not something that's limited specifically to the animals. So with this, when we talk about these two processes, cellular respiration and also photosynthesis, cellular respiration is going to take place in mitochondria, and we will find mitochondria in both plant and animal cells. And when we're talking about photosynthesis, that takes place primarily in the chloroplast, and that is something that's unique to plants. So when you get down to it, animals, for the most part, they're only able to perform one side of this. So they basically have to get their energy from sugar molecules, and they will run just this one side of it. So we do call them heterotrophic because of that. They have to basically have their carbon sources, their organic molecules presented to them. So they eat other organisms or they eat their sugars. Plants, on the other hand, they can really run both sides of this. And we call organisms that are able to convert carbon dioxide or inorganic carbon into sugars, we call them autotrophic. And plants are an example of that, like I said. And plants will be able to basically perform this side of the reaction, and then they can also perform the other side. Now, as far as why they might be performing both sides of this, well, it's ideal to utilize that light energy when the sun is out. So when the sun is shining, and at that time, they will make some sugar molecules, and they can store those sugar molecules for later use, so long-term use. But later on, if there is no sun available, so nighttime, some areas we also have extended periods of darkness, when there's no light, they will still need some energy. So when there is no light available, they are going to take those sugar molecules and they will break them down using the cellular respiration side of this equation. So the cellular respiration side would definitely be used by plants. So if I just put this down here, it would be used by plants specifically when they can't photosynthesize. That would occur whenever there's no light available, and it would also occur if there was a period of time when they did not have their photosynthetic organs. And the leaves are the primary places where photosynthesis is going to take place. So if there was a time of year when the plant did not have leaves, then it would also have to rely on sugars that have been stored, and it would break them down. So during the fall, when the leaves have fallen off and then throughout the winter, plants are really going to be primarily relying on cellular respiration to break down stored sugars.